Welcome to the 94th show, and today I'm going to be representing the 94th show with the 9 Sephiroths at the bottom of the tree of the Cabala, which is beneath the door, and the 4 is going to be represented by the door itself. That's right, the door that's supposed to remain shut, and that information can be taken inside your Hebrew alphabet, where it is the 4th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It is also associated to a door. Okay, it's a door, and it's supposed to be remain shut. But in this show, where we have fun, breaking all the rules, we are going to go open the door, and we are going to go in the house of God, as the house here of Aleph, which is the ox here, is really the house of God through the fact and the understanding to the attributes of the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Aleph, the ox. It is associated to God. There you go. So on top of here, this is the house of God, and this is the house in heaven. As you understand, when you look up, you are looking at the sky, but you also are looking at heavens. And in heavens, you will find the sun, the stars, and the moon. So in between the moon and the sun, there are stars. And just to finish off, this here, there's a reason why Jesus is the King of Kings, because he resides up here, and his head is in the house of God on the top of the tree, and the top of the tree is the crown of the tree. Therefore, that's why kings and queens, as well as Jesus, wear crowns, because they're on top of this system of witchcraft. All right, so that's why he wears a crown. That being said, we are going to look at the moon, the star, and the sun, which is your 3 major religions. Okay, when we go into Christianity, we find out that it's associated to the sun, as he is the light of the world. That's one association. Then you have, through Christianity, you have the winter solstice, which is associated indirectly with the return of the light around Christmas. And then you have the summer solstice, which is associated with the feast of John the Baptist. And you have the spring equinox, which is associated to Easter. So the sun worshiping is done through the understanding of Christianity. So they gave it a little fun, parties, and then it took a life on its own, and with a nice little story. So that being said, you can find the cross inside of the Kabbalah. We also know that our friend Christ here, he is also the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, because that is associated to Aleph, and we saw earlier God. And the cross here, crudely enough, is associated to the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So that's why he dies on the cross, because he's he's the alphabet. All right, he has to die on the cross, and he's connected with 3 nails, which is associated to Vav, and that is the 6th letter. So you have witchcraft hidden inside here. That's 666. So you have witchcraft through the alphabet, and that's your spell right there. Now, without we go any further, as I mentioned, the alphabet, we all know by now that the father, Aleph, Bet, is a phonetic duality for alphabet, Aleph, Bet. All right? So let's go to our friends here that worship the Star of David. We have the symbol of magic here indirectly through the true triangles. When 33 is put through gematria, simple gematria, it equals 33, and the 3 is associated to a triangle. That is the magic, and it is also associated through witchcraft, through the fact that this symbol here has a 6-pointed star, triangles, and 6-sided hexagons. So that's your 666, and indirectly is associated through witchcraft through English gematria. So there you go, and you can find it inside here. Now, this religion has the Sabbath, which is on Saturday, and it starts in the evening on Friday until they see 3 stars in the sky on Saturday night. So this is associated to stars. And our friends over here in Islam are are worshiping the moon, as Ramadan is when the first sighting of the crescent moon. That's when the holiday starts, so it is moon worshiping. So as you can see, indirectly, it is associated to the Hebrew alphabet through the understanding of what you see here. The crescent moon has 2 angles, 1, 2, and this star is associated to Venus, and Venus is the second planet of our solar system, and that symbol right here represents 22 indirectly, as this represents 22 indirectly, and this has to do with this tree and the tree of the Cabala. So it was very cunning. They hid the magic inside of your religions, and everybody ends up being under a spell. And there you go. So that is how millions of people who do not understand how witchcraft works get, suckered in, and at the end of all that, believe in something that if they behave, they will go to heaven, all right? But the door is shut because you don't understand that it's the Aleph-Bet, it's the alphabet that controls the system. There you go. That's it. Have a great day.